Um, I'm doing Rakabi, and I picked interest in what the Honorable Odonga Oto is asking. Uh, to the Balal, again, something which is vague, ambiguous, and I think it's kind of derogatory as well. Because who are the Balal? I don't think there is any tribe known as the Balalo. I don't think there is any clan or anything that is defined as the Balalo in our constitution. I think the best we can get to a Balalo is the Baganda version, which means someone who is working, who is doing the work of a cattle keeper for payments. That's the I think the best version you can get. Actually, from the Vinyankore perspective, it is even worse because the word Balalo in Vinyankore comes from the word Omlaro, and Omlaro in Kinyankore means having the worst night of your life or worst days of your life. And so if you had nightmares, then that is having Omlaro. So he addresses the Balalo, and he has what he calls the 16 questions, which I want to respond to with the 16 answers. I don't know. He refers to himself as a political philosopher, political scientist. I've known him as one of the best legislators that Uganda has ever had, without question. But I think since the time he failed in his bid to become a member of parliament in 2021, he has degenerated into a populist, thriving on tribal sentiments. I think he is using that card to win his way back to the August House, which I think is uncalled for. For he can win with or without, resorting to such stooping that low. But that aside, I think I should address the issues as he puts them. His first question is that, do you know that under Article 237 of the Constitution of Uganda, there are 4 tenure systems of land, and customary land is one of them? I think this is a yes or no question. And the answer is yes. We do know that. And by that, I don't know by we and them. Because again, I must make this disclaimer. I don't even own land in northern Uganda. I don't even intend to buy it sooner or later. I come from Ngoma, Nakaseke district in Uganda. But I think by asking that, he's talking about maybe the people who have bought land, who are leasing, renting, and having cattle in northern Uganda, Acholi region to be specific. So I think the answer is yes. The other question is, why are you coming to our area and converting customary land into freehold, leasehold? And when he asks this, I would have responded in using the legal perspective, but he claims to be a political philosopher. And so I will respond as a philosopher, and I hope he understands this. I hope Mr. Odonga Otosa, you understand that most of the things that we do, if we don't understand that there are 3 types of objectivity, we have what we call the objective reality, then we have what we call the subjective reality, and then we have what we call the intersubjective reality. The objective reality are things like death. Whether you believe it or not, you will die. Gravity, gravitation force. Whether you believe it or not, it does exist, irrespective of what you think. And then there's what we call subjective. You could go to a hospital and you're sick, and the doctor says you're fine, but you're feeling the fever. So it's subjective. It can't be understood by all. But then there's what we call the intersubjective reality. And as a philosopher, you should be knowing this, that most of the things that we govern ourselves under, or we take lives to be intersubjective. Say the country you're in, the tribe you belong to. Those are things that have been woven, some by accident, some by agreement. The currency you use is agreed upon by you, and is taken to be the truth. Because if we decided that today money, currency, paper, and the coins don't work, that would be agreed upon. So you should be aware as a philosopher that intersubjectively, customary land or otherwise can be sold, can be exchanged into freehold and leasehold. As a philosopher, I think you're far too adroit for that. The other question, which is, you ask in your mind, in your head, do you think an acre of land is 700,000 shillings? You're gonna change. Again, when you talk about in your, or which mind, because as a philosopher, again, you should be aware that a society can't have one mind. And by that, of course, I understand what you're talking about. When you say an equivalent of 6 crates of beer, I think we should all agree again. Like you say, that in your region, again, which region are you talking about? Because I come from the central region and we don't have a set price. For an acre, these are agreeable by individuals, or maybe dependent on the market price or what have you. But again, it's not defined because this is a capitalist, and so we just go by agreement, provided one is not under duress and they meet all the other contractual obligations. So the exact figure is not the issue. The issue is the fairness, and I think that's what you're addressing. That I would agree with you. There should be fairness, and there should be a following of the law to the core. But the other issue you talk about in your question, that why is the traffic one way to your area? Is there any other group heading to our area? By your and our is something I don't understand, and it baffles me. Because if you're speaking like a Ugandan, then your, then our. Because I don't think Odonga Oto, you ever achieve the idea of having your kinsmen, your tribesmen, only being the neighbors to you. Because I know by now, most of the time you spend your time in central Uganda. So you're saying the traffic is one way, which is not true. You spend most of the time in the central region, like I do. And so you, by saying the traffic is one way, you at best are being wrong. And I think you should be aware of this, if it's not hypocrisy. So you should be aware that we have to live harmoniously, because I mean, that was the Bantu migration 4,000 years back. The Luo migration more than 4,000 years back. The Nilotics, Nile Hamites, more than 5,000 years back. So there has always been migration to and fro. You know, can we say now they should go back to where they came from? Is that what you're advocating for? Then we should all pack our bags and go to where we came from, Cameroon or whatever your ancestors came from. So these are BS issues really that need to be left behind, because as a philosopher, I think you need to be aware that that is not something that we should be discussing. But the other thing is, that why are your animals destroying our crops? Understandably, I mean, when you ask this question, our animals or their animals or whoever is doing that should be brought to book. And it's not just happening in your region. You know, it happens everywhere, but they're dealt with according to the law. This is criminal. So it should be faced individually again, and not as a tribe or as a group. So the other thing is, what happened to the presidential directive of fencing the land? That is understandable. And I think that has been done, and whoever has failed to do that, again, should be brought to book. The other thing you're asking is, are you aware what happened to you under Kikwete in Tanzania? But again, this is absurd. Who are you talking to? So you mean the people who are, in northern Uganda, the so-called Valari you're talking about, were in Tanzania? So you mean that's the same group? It's absurd to say the least, because people are coming from wherever they come from, because the law agrees that any Ugandan can own land wherever or wherever they please and can afford to buy it from. So you say, so what are you trying to mean by what happened in Tanzania? You know, going in with 1,000 cows and then you come with 10, and you seem to be in a jubilatory mood, you know, uttering out such. And then you talk about Banyankore of Uganda, Your question 7, where you ask them, the Banyankore of Uganda, are you aware that the word Balaro is now embracing people from Burundi, people from Rwanda, and people from everywhere? And again, by Balaro, who are you talking about to? Because the Banyankore don't want to be called Balaro. No one wants to be called Balaro, because again, this is the regulatory term which you should stop using. There is no such a group as Balaro. So by saying that Banyankore should be aware that their word is being encroached on is in itself absurd. You should be aware that there is no Banyankore who wants to be called a Mlaro. Like the Banyankore, whoever wants to, they have other terms they can use against the Northerner or anyone, which should be stopped. Like the Bakoko, that should be stopped and condemned. Like we should be condemning the use of the word Balaro. Maybe if you're talking about the people who don't have land, who are just, moving around without owning anything or leasing anything, that we can understand, but we should maybe define that. So again, you talk about that, do you think the president, the current president will be here forever? Again, as Odonga Oto, I want to know, what do you mean by this? Because we're quite aware that the president won't be here forever. And by this, you're trying to threaten that it could get worse when he's gone. As an opposition leader, don't you think that's why some people will shy away or will even run away from the opposition when such kind of threats are heard? Instead of winning people through convincing them, you try to kind of blackmail them into believing you. Don't you think that's an absurd decision or question you're asking? Then do you think we are stupid is another question you ask. Who are you asking then? Do you people think we are stupid? Because we can't judge people in groups. We can't judge people in tribes. That's an absurd thing to say. Individuals can be stupid, that's fine. But not a group, not a family, not a tribe. There are wise people in Baganda, there are wise people in Banyankore, wise people in Banyarwanda, and there are wise people in Acholi. So that's an absurd thing again. By asking such a question, as a political scientist or political philosopher, you should be, ashamed of that question. So the other question is, do you want to make a friendship with the region, or rather with the regime, or the people of Acholi? So as a political philosopher, again, you should be quite aware. Is this mutually exclusive? Is this logically contradictory? Is it logically contrary? Or is it logically parallel? If you don't understand that as a philosopher, again, that question, leaves a lot hanging. Because you're thinking, are you saying that we can't have both? Can't you be friends with an Acholi and also be friends with the regime, as you're trying to put it? Because you're saying the regime will go, which is fine. Remaining here or going doesn't stop one from having friendship with an Acholi or with the Northerner, whoever he is. Because again, these are things you shouldn't be asking at this time. You ask, are you aware that land is not like soap or a blanket that you can carry it and run away with it? And this is a good question. And again, I think to answer you, I think is why you need to be not worried. Because again, if they can't steal land like a blanket or like soap, then you can just sit and wait for the law to take its course. Because no one will steal that land and go without facing the courts of law. So what happened to the verification committee is another question you ask. I think that's a good question. We should be asking if what that committee has done. Have they included all the stakeholders? Where is the report? That's an understandable question. Then you ask, are you aware? Tried to remove land in Acholi using the same approach. And when he was gone, land ended up and the titles were cancelled. But again, how was he trying to remove the land? Again, are you talking about land or soil or whatever? Because you said in your previous question, land can't be stored. So these are realities that need to be faced. Land can't be stored anywhere, not in northern Uganda, not in central, not in west, not in east, not anywhere. Then you ask, by appointing your people, OCs, RDCs, do you think you should be continuing to destroy our crops and land? And again, by your people, by appointing. You're talking about the government and then at the same time, bundling it with the so-called Balalo. It's absurd to assume that a cattle keeper in northern region, because he's a Mnyankore, that is the one appointing the RDC or the OC. No, it's absurd. But whoever again destroys the crops should be held accountable individually. I think that should be underlined. Then you ask another question, that in all your signings, the LOC one is used. Is he a customary leader? I think that the answer is no. They should be involving the stakeholders. Of course, the NLC one is a stakeholder. That is not, being myopic. They can involve them, but the customary leaders also need to be involved. I think that's your point. Then you also ask customary land. That customary land is clan-led, and signing it with just 2 people, and NLC is void. I think here you're right. Just 2 people won't make a clan. You claim, you to be a clan leader, which I don't doubt. So I think whoever is involved in any agreement, they should involve all the stakeholders before anything is declared contractual, and before anything can be declared null and void. So by that I know what you're talking about, where you're coming from. So to sell land, customary land, every stakeholder that needs to be consulted should be consulted and should be involved in the agreement. Then the other thing maybe I shouldn't be talking about is your conclusion. You said this is a political issue. So you admit it's not a legal issue. It's not just an issue of some behavior that is gone wrong. You're saying this is a political statement which should be taken advantage of. It's absurd from you, Mr. Honorable. I don't think this should be made politicized to win favor or to win you into a seat. And you even go ahead and say that LRI and ADF still can be used here to sort us out. I mean, is that not treasonous? I don't think this kind of rhetoric should be entertained anywhere. Odonga Otosa. And then you also say no votes for the president of Uganda unless the Balalo leave Acholi, like you've ever voted for him, like you've ever campaigned for him. Again, this is a political statement. This is blackmail. This is populism. And by using a tribal card to win your way to that August House is absurd. You ask the 16 questions, we've given you the 16 answers, and then the conclusion you want. I think maybe to add on, this is something that should be handled, case by case, because no one goes there as a group. People go there as individuals. They buy land as individuals with the customary, because again, not every land in northern Uganda is customary, because some people own titles in northern Uganda. But we need to know, if it's customary, have they followed the procedures that need to be followed? So Mr. Odonga Oto, those are the questions you asked, and those are the answers I've given you. Thank you so much, political philosopher. I'm Tine Rwakabi, a political philosopher as well.